Do you think Muramasa Demon Blade will ever get a current generation port? Well, we gotta understand this is Vanillaware we're talking about, and they did release Odin Sphere on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita and PS3 back in the day, but it did get a PS4 release. It did not get a Switch release. I don't know why. I think the Switch, I've been saying this for years, man, since 2019, 2020. I've been saying that Odin Sphere could easily benefit from being on the Nintendo Switch. That will be like, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't they port Odin Sphere or Dragon's Crown to the Switch? So they got a PS4 port, even though these games were originally released for previous consoles, previous generations. But now they got ported to the PlayStation 4, and they're not on Switch, but okay, 13 Sentinels got a release on Switch. Why can't they port Odin Sphere and Dragon's Crown? And then they released Grim Grimoire last year. Amazing real-time strategy game, some RPG elements in there. This is a game that got the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 treatment. Grim Grimoire is on Switch. 13 Sentinels is on Switch. And PS4 and PS5. PS4 only. So, the first question is, why can't they release their games on the Switch? Odin Sphere and Dragon's Crown. And then the second question is, why can't they port Muramasa the Demon Blade to anything? It's just there on PS Vita and Wii, and that's it. And nowadays, no one seems to care about those systems. Unfortunately, hard as I try my hardest to make people care about them, especially the PS Vita. But it's like people don't care, man. What can I say, man? It's Vanillaware. That's Vanillaware for you. And obviously the biggest question is, why can't they port their games to Steam? Why? Not a single one of them. Maybe George Kamitani is a console puritan, like I am. But I don't know, if I was an enterprise, even if I'm not gonna play games on Steam, even if I don't play games on my computer, I will port, or I will release my games on Steam. Because there's a lot of money to be made in there, so why can't they release their games on PC? That's the big question here, right? Forget about Muramasa or which specific title, every single Vanillaware game is not on PC. That's just dumb. That's just a stupid business decision, man, not releasing your games on Steam. But I don't know. Maybe these games are very console programmed and it will be a huge pain in the ass to port them to Steam or to adapt them to the Steam controls. I don't think so, but I don't know. I have no idea why they don't port their games on Steam or PC. Beats me, man. It just seems like a dumb decision. But Muramasa, to answer your question, do I think Muramasa the Demon Blade will ever get a current generation port? Yes, I have hopes, maybe not high hopes, but I think probably they will port it someday, because every single one of their games, every single one of their games is available for at least one modern system. Dragon's Crown, PS4 at least. Odin Sphere, PS4 at least. Grim Grimoire, everywhere. 13 Sentinels, PS4 and Switch. So, what's missing? Muramasa the Demon Blade. Yeah, I'd like to think that we'll get a port to modern systems of that game one day. It definitely needs one. Especially if it gets the Grim Grimoire treatment. PS4, PS5 and Switch. But when will they release their games on PC? Grand Knight's History. Well, Grand Knight's History didn't sell very well in Japan. It's a pretty unusual game. It's one of those games that isn't exactly story-driven. It's mostly quest-driven. I don't think it will ever get released overseas. But if it does, hopefully it will come also on PlayStation 4, 5 or Switch at least. That would be great. But that's a pretty obscure game, and well, let alone the obscurity of it, I think it's a game most people won't be able to get into. If it was up to NIS America, they will definitely remaster it or port it because they don't care. But Atlas is, this is Vanillaware we're talking about, and they have highest standards apparently. So Grand Knight's History, I don't see it coming never overseas, but who knows? I could be wrong. Princess Crown, you know, we've already discussed that one too. Hopefully it will be released one day, but that's up to Atlus. That wasn't Vanillaware. I don't think control mapping is an issue for a game like Muramasa. Nothing is an issue, to be honest, with that game. It has no reason not to be released on modern systems. People want everything on modern systems. I think it's because the... we talked about this before. I think it's because the... well, it wasn't the same anymore. 5 years ago, you could still buy a lot of retro games and retro consoles for an affordable price. And nowadays, you can't. And even though a lot of retro games and consoles have come down in price, I mean, I remember seeing the Wii, a freaking Wii, white Wii, you know, selling for $80. That was like crazy. $80, you know, that's not a lot of money, you know, but still $80, you know. I think it's come down to its usual 50 or 60, right? But yeah, the same cannot be said about Muramasa either version. I think the PS Vita version used to be like $30, $40 at max. The Wii version, same, $20, $25, $30, you know. And then the pandemic happened and prices shot up insanely. And I don't even know how much that goes for nowadays. Let's check it out. Price charting. The Wii version, the PAL version sells for $50 complete in box. That's insane. PAL versions 9 out of 10 times are usually cheaper. 9 out of 10 times. I know the Persona games on PS2 are far more expensive. But yeah, the Wii version says here that it sells for $33. And this is price charting. So that's probably around 40. You will probably find this game for like between $30 and $40 in retro stores. But however, what about the best version of this game to play, which is Muramasa Rebirth, which is a remaster of the Wii version. This sells for $65. Complete in box. $65, that's a lot of money, man. That's over 1,000 Mexican pesos, and that's just dumb. So you see what I mean? Prices did come down in price. They've come down in price for the past couple of years, especially since last year. I started to see a decrease in last year. We talked about this before. You know, I remember seeing Suikoden 5 on the PS2 for $150 2 or 3 years ago. And nowadays it's not even $100. Sure, it's still like $80, $90, you know, but it's still freaking expensive, but it's still a little bit more affordable. So, my point is, despite some retro games being more affordable than they were before 2 or 3 years ago during the pandemic, they're still expensive. And no one wants to pay, not many people are willing to pay $65 for Muramasa on the PS Vita, when they can just patiently wait for a remaster on PS4 or Switch and eventually get it for $40 or $30, right? Which is going to be cheaper. So that's why people want every single video game in existence ported to modern systems. Don't you think that this remake remaster trend is getting tiring? Very tiring, you know, but I just gave you one big reason why, despite being tiring, they should kind of continue. And especially, that's the first reason. Prices. And availability is another reason. But another big reason is that a lot of retro games didn't age very well, and they could easily benefit from a remaster or a remake at least. Like we've talked a million times how Xenogears desperately needs some kind of remake. Or, I don't know, some of the Final Fantasy games got remastered, you know, and they added some quality of life features, and they look better. You know, Final Fantasy VIII, for example, or 9, they didn't age very well on PS1, fortunately. Neither did 7. But they got remastered and added some quality of life features to them. And they're better, you know. Sure, they have these remasters, have a lot of issues, I know that, but they feel better. You know, to play, it's more fun to play these versions than the original PS1 version. That's what I'm trying to say. So, despite this trending about remakes and remasters being overused and overdone and overrated and tiring, you know, I still think it needs to continue. But I believe companies need to make better decisions when it comes to pricing, number one, and when it comes to which games to remake or remaster. We've talked about the difference between a remake and a remaster. A remaster is just using the same game and doing a makeover, putting makeup on it. Okay, and a remake is redoing the game from scratch, from zero. That's a remake. Okay, so yeah, I think companies need to make better decisions on which games to remake or remaster, because it just seems to me that most of them don't really care about it either. Most of them just care about bringing them back. They care more about availability than quality or quantity even. All they do is re-release their games digitally with an HD upgrade, and that's it. And yes, some games, Legend of Dragoon, Valkyrie Profile, Wild Arms, Grandia, they look pretty damn good, right? They do look like they were upgraded. But the problem is that that's just a bit of a cash grab. Instead of adding a lot of quality of life improvements, instead of really remastering these games, they're just, putting a little bit of makeup on them and that's it. Here's your digital version of it on the PS5. And yeah, thank you for that, but I don't know, a true remaster will be better, don't you think? As a cash grab, it will net them more money. But yeah, it's getting tiring, man. I agree with that, but I still think it needs to continue. Yeah, the problem with shorts is that you're right, people don't want to watch videos anymore. This is the reason why I think, going back to the Versus episodes, this is the reason why I think a lot of people aren't watching those on my main channel. Because they don't care about what you guys have to say. They don't even care about what I have to say. They just want to see what game won and what game I picked, probably. And that's it. So as a result, these videos are barely getting any watch time, and they're not getting recommended. Because people are like, I don't need to watch a 10-minute long video to see which game won between Suikoden 2 and The Legend of Dragoon. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit about the arguments. And that's not just a lack of attention span. That's just an attitude from a lot of people that the internet has inflicted on from years ago. People stopped caring about the how. People stopped caring about the why. People don't give a fuck about context anymore. And it's a big part of the culture social war from nowadays, I believe. Like, that's why there's so many people angry and divided and fighting each other and saying whatever the fuck they want and getting away with it, and ruining careers, ruining lives, offending everybody, because they don't give a fuck about context anymore. They don't care about the whys or the hows. They just care about the whats. So that's like, hey guys, I'm gonna make a review of this beautiful transparent water bottle. So they don't give a shit. No. Just tell me if it's good or not, Erick. Oh yeah, it's good. You should buy it. Okay, thanks. That's all they care about, most people. So they don't give a fuck about, oh, this water, the water is like this, and how they make the bottle like this, in order for this little thing to work, they do it like this. And in my opinion, this should have a better, I don't know, whatever, most people don't give a fuck about that anymore. They're just like, hey guys, this is good. Play it, buy it, it's on Switch, and it's $30. Good to go. That's why there's a lot of top 10s nowadays with, I haven't watched a single one of them, but I imagine they don't have very compelling arguments. Like, I really see, I just wrote a script for a new video yesterday for a new top 10 that I got coming out probably tomorrow. So, while I was writing the script, I was like, passionately writing my arguments that I know for a fact most people are gonna skip because they don't give a shit. But what can I do? Will you prefer me to make shorts, 1 minute long videos and just saying, oh, top 10 best this, number 7, number 6, number 5, and that's it? Yeah. So it's not just TikTok. Sure, TikTok made a huge negative impact. Well, whether it's negative or positive, it's a matter of perspective, right? In my perspective, it's a negative impact on a website like YouTube. Definitely was a very negative impact, in my opinion. But it sure did, but it's not the only problem. I think social media as a whole, not just TikTok, the entirety of the internet and social media made people like this. Made people not care about the reasons why, about explanations, about arguments, about, words, they don't even read anymore. People don't give a fuck about books anymore, all they care about is the what. What happened? What happened with this person? What happened with this YouTuber? What happened with this actor? What's going on? Oh, so what happened with Kevin Spacey? Oh, did he got all the charges dropped? Oh, sure, he did. Oh, great. I don't give a shit about the rest. They don't even need to know why. Nope. The two guys who I used to be in contact with all these years, that used to send me review codes, they don't work for the company anymore, for NIS America, and obviously they haven't said anything. You go to their social media and they don't say, oh, NIS America fired me, no, or I quit the company, no. They're just like, as of March, whatever, I am no longer working for NIS America. Thank you for all the great memories and blah, 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 and yeah. And people wishing them good luck and the best of luck in the comments, It's like nothing's being revealed, like whether they were fired or whether they quit or maybe they had a contract and it expired. I have no idea. PR companies are always changing. This is nothing new. I'm not surprised, PR companies are always changing personnel, like sometimes it's per game. Like Atlus, for example, or Square Enix, every time a new game comes out, it's a different person. It's not the same guy. Oh yeah, I'm the guy, I'm the PR for Square Enix RPGs. No, every game is a new person, or even a new team. Sometimes not even a new person, an entirely new team with a different name. Like Panda Bears Incorporated. I just made that up. There is no Panda Bears PR. I don't know if, let's say, like Panda Bears. Hey, I'm Jonathan from Panda Bears Incorporated, and I'm working for Square Enix right now for the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. So here's your review code, right? And then the next Square Enix RPG comes out. I don't know, whatever, and it's no longer Panda Bears. It's like, well, I'm Lion Kings Incorporated now. I'm Susan, and I work for Lion Kings Incorporated, and I'm handling review codes for the new Square Enix game. And I'm all, at the beginning I was like, what happened with the other guy? Did he get fired? Or what the fuck? PR companies are like this. But NIS America, for years, it was always these two guys. Always. I'm not gonna say their names, but it was always these two guys. Always. I started working with NIS America since 2021. Yeah, 2021 when I started receiving review codes, and it was always these two guys. And all of a sudden, they just disappeared. They no longer work for the company. There's this new guy that I've been talking to, and he hasn't replied my messages in weeks. And I was like, hey, so what? Am I gonna get a review code for Trails Through Daybreak? No answer. Okay. Maybe they've been replaced by AI? I doubt it. They don't give a fuck about us, man, and they don't even pay us. Look how they treat us. And people comply. They don't stand up to these guys. They don't stand up to companies, They just, okay. Oh, I wish They play the humble role. I know everybody wants to be the humble YouTuber nowadays and not criticize anything or anyone and behave and obey and whatnot, but they're always like, oh, I hope I'm lucky enough to get a review code. Come on, people. I wish I could just send a message to all YouTubers out there. Not the big ones, but the ones that are like on my spectrum, and tell them you should start charging these companies because, come on, they treat you like shit. They don't pay you anything, and they expect you to advertise their game for free. And that's what we do. I advertise their games for free. Well, not for free. I get paid by YouTube, by the ads, by companies. But I talk about games because I'm passionate about them, and also because I want developers to keep creating more RPGs, especially the obscure ones. Like, I know I do give a lot of attention to the popular AAA RPGs as well, but I like to give a lot of attention to the obscure, the smaller games, or the hidden gems, so studios can continue creating these games, right? And nobody's paying me. They aren't paying me. But these publishers, man, always a fucking problem.